going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is episode 2 of our Chicago White Sox off-season franchise before the new game comes out um, here in a couple months. We are moving on to the off-season this episode. We simulated the full 2023 season, made some moves trade-wise, and now we are moving on to the off-season. We're going to really probably play heavily in the free agent market, and then we're going to make some changes to the coaching staff. So those are the big things we're going to do, and hopefully we can fly through the offseason. It does tend to be a little tedious just because there's a lot of waiting around, so it should go pretty quick for you guys at home, but I'm going to just jump right into it. We're just going to kind of go through everything that there is to do. So without further ado, White Sox. Okay, so our hitting coach retired, helps us out because we were going to get a new hitting coach, and then our manager and first base coach. So the game kind of helped us out there. So we have 3 slots to fill. Likely we will probably replace our entire coaching staff. We'll just have to see. Let's see the retired players here. So we had Shaw. He was really hurting as far as his rating just plummeting. And then Hackenberg, young kid, not too much sweat off my back there. We kind of anticipated those two. I'm kind of curious if Grandal retired as well. We can kind of go through here and see. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not going to spend too much time in here. Wainwright, kind of knew that. Dun, dun. So it looks like he's gonna stick around. So that's we probably wouldn't have re-signed him anyways, just because we had somebody better on the team to start next year. But there's your retirement list. All right, and then 3 guys they're saying are going to go to the Hall of Fame: Scherzer, Cabrera, Cano. Surprising with Cano, but fictional world. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. I don't know if they'll get him in just kind of based on what's been happening, but Cabrera and Scherzer probably for sure first ballot Hall of Famers there. Okay. All right. So now exclusive free agent negotiations. We have 2 guys there. We can see what they're looking for. 2.6 a year. He's 32. 71 overall rating. He's probably not going to play for our team. So he'll be in AAA. I don't need to re-sign him. Naquin might add us some depth that we do need. I don't think we'll need as much. I'm just looking at 1-year deals, $2.6 million. So, and he's looking for multiple years. So if we do 2.4, let's see if he'll sign for 2 years. 70 overall. We might send out an offer to him just because I'm going to need some depth. I just have a feeling. So our team just kind of sitting around that low 70s mark anyways. I don't see him starting, but if somebody goes down or something, he's good to have. So we're going to make an offer. Like I said, I'm probably going to do that 2-year, give him what he wants, the 2.4. And then while I'm here, the reason why I'm wanting to change my coaching staff, which we're going to have to get some guys in there, is because if you look to the right there with the role, team quality, coaching staff, region, morale, if that coaching staff, which it does says ours is top tier already, so it's not really going to help as much, but that it helps in signing players and stuff like that. So that's why I do it. And then 2, the coaches get bonuses with stat bonuses. So, if you play a certain way or, want your team to kind of behave a certain way, it doesn't hurt to get coaches that kind of specialize in that, right? So like, I'll show you more when I get to the coaching kind of carousel there, but just kind of something to look at because it does those contract interest that contract interest section does play a role in who you sign. So the big one, of course, is um, team quality, right? So like a lot of guys look for contenders. We're not going to be probably considered a contender, so it might be hard to get these top tier guys. We might have to overpay for them. I'm willing to do that because we dumped a bunch of our payroll. So let me offer this. See, it's saying he's going to be platoon, so I'm okay with that. He's looking for 2.4. We'll give him that. We'll see. All right, so let's go to the review staff page. We already know we got 3 guys that we got to replace here. So manager, hitting coach, first base coach. Our pitching coach is pretty good. I don't like that he has a -3 control on his stat modifier. So, I mean, that's really big for me is control with my pitching, um, as well as, some other things. But we're going to see what's out there, see maybe if we can't get somebody better. I don't mind if we, with these 6 coaches, are spending $1 million on each one at least. I mean, obviously our managers are going to be a little bit higher, but I don't really try and save money with my coaches. I just get the guys that I know that I like, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how much that makes a difference, but it's good to know that you've built your team all the way down to your coaches. Our third base coach now, he's a B attribute wise. Really not much there. He's kind of vanilla. Um, we'll look there too. And then our farm director, durability and power up, hits per 9, arm accuracy down. So these guys are just kind of there. You'll see, like, let's go to our manager. I'm probably going to go after an A, but you see, like, a lot of these guys don't have negatives. Some do, but I kind of just go through here, and what I am looking for is just 4 categories with the stat modifiers that make sense to me. Um, I go through here multiple times to kind of see. Sometimes I get a guy with a negative modifier if it makes sense, but like pitching clutch is big for me. Plate discipline, control, like I said. So there's a bunch that matter to me. There's a lot that don't. Um, you know, let's see, like hits per 9. You know, I can live without having a modifier there. Fielding as well. It's good to have, but I mean, you have to drop some off your list because it's just not gonna. You're not gonna get everything you want. So what I do is try and kind of spread out my modifiers. Make sure that I get guys that aren't all in the same thing. So you have a lot more to work with. But as for the guy that we're gonna go after, I'm gonna look through this. Uh, just kind of see what we've got. Okay, I think I found my guy in Tom Strong here. Unfortunately, he does have a negative stat modifier. I think that's the guy I want. Tom Strong. I was also looking at Brian Harper just because he has a negative stat modifier in bunting. I don't find myself bunting. This is one of the only guys that doesn't, but um, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get him, just because they're kind of saying he's the top guy. That's why you see like Kevin Cash up there too. Um, but I think Tom Strong. Everybody else seems to have a negative modifier in place that I don't want. Play vision, no. Pitching clutch, no. We're gonna offer Tom Strong. He's 47 years old. We got a young team. He might be the perfect guy to kind of fit in there. A little worried about the arm accuracy. I think we can overcome that with, maybe our third base coach or something like that. So I'm going to make an offer to Tom Strong. He's looking for 4.2 a year for 2 to 4 years. We're going to bump that a little bit, just so that way we're sure to have the top offer. So we'll do 3 years. We have it at 4.2. We're going to move it to like 4.5, just because you can see that we've got plenty of surplus, is what they call it, or plenty of cap room. Right now we got almost $118 million to spend. So pretty excited about that. I think I'm just going to make it an even 14 and call it good because we want the best of the best. So we're going to offer him that. Okay, now we can see kind of the interest level. So not the water's not full up there, but we'll see in the coming days kind of what happens. That's why I said it's kind of a waiting game because you offer these guys a contract, and then a lot of them don't sign right away. We can go back to our main thing here. Our hitting coaches next. Now, the thing about you know the coaches that I wish it was a little bit better. You kind of have the same pool for everything, which is how it is in real life. I just would kind of rather prefer, maybe said their desired, position, something like that. I've lost guys to, like I tried to get Dave Roberts. He happened to be available, and he didn't want to be a head coach. He wanted to be a farm director. So there's really no place it said it. But I would have hired him as the farm director too. So you just kind of gotta pick and choose. Like obviously with our hitting coach, we're gonna want like that guy looks pretty good. Plate vision, what I want. Bunting, not so much. Drag bunting, that's whatever. And then power. So I guess he only has two modifiers we're really looking for. I'm just gonna see if anybody jumps out. This guy's pretty, straight across the board. I like that he's power and contact +1 with plate vision. Nicholas Forbes seems to be just kind of a pretty straightforward vanilla guy. He might be a safe bet to kind of go after. That guy's not. See, he's already there with power and contact, but he's got the plate vision. So that's kind of what I look for. This guy's not bad either. He's got clutch, power, both +2. So there's some good. Oh, I like that. I think I'm gonna go Jason Cadero. Here's another kind of vanilla guy, power, plate vision. So the hitting coaches look to be kind of in abundance, which is good because if we don't get one, there's others we can go after. I think we're gonna start with Cadero just because I like that +3 plate vision, and then +2 power. So let's see what he is looking for. 1.2 for 2 to 4 years. We're just going to do 3 years for everybody. He's at 1.2. We'll make it 1.5. So 4.5 for 3 years. Again, I'm not trying to save money with my coaches. Um, I just feel like get the guys that helps with free agent signing, and I'm not sure how much the modifiers help, but it's definitely um, something I don't want to take for granted. So we got 2 offers there. Oops. We're gonna look at pitching coaches. That you have to kind of go over here. You can't click on it because they're gonna ask you to fire him. But like right away, Daryl Boston is better than the guy we got. I definitely look for specific things with my pitching coach. Pitching clutch, control, um, things like that. Not so much, I would love like velocity. It's just hard to find more than 2 or 3 that you really want. Um, but control is big, or like walks per 9. Those are kind of the ones that, I think when you simulate and stuff, that's where the pitchers have the most problem is with walks and stuff. So that's at least the pitchers this year on our Chicago White Sox team did. So we kind of want a guy with some control. Pitching clutch is big because, I think for the young guys, I think that's going to help them out. So we'll just kind of look through here. Not going to go through it as much in depth as the hitting coach. I'll let you know who I choose here. We will have to fire him and pay out his contract as well. But he's got -3 control. So that kind of tells you why we had our issues with the the walks. And another thing too that I just thought of, we have basically 4 guys now that all are fastball first guys with Cease, Bello, we got Grayson Rodriguez and May on our team, and all of them throw really hard. So maybe we go after velocity and bump that up even more, just so that way we can keep their velocity up. That might be something that I look for. But let me get to it, and like I said, I'll stop it when I find my guy here. Okay, so for the starting pitching coach, there's a couple guys. There's really not a lot of depth here. Um, our manager already that we're offering, that guy's higher, kind of has our control on our pitching clutch. Um, you know where I'm okay with it. With our pitching coach, we're probably gonna have to go top of the list here. Boston was one guy I was looking at. Um, Tupman and then Compton. I really wanted that velocity, so I think I'm gonna go after Boston, even though he's at the top of the list. We'll just see what he wants here. 1.3, 2 to 4 years, so not bad. We'll give him, he's top of the list, so we'll give him 1.6. See where that puts him. So interested. Um, okay, so that's that, and then first base coach. This is kind of where I do like my fielding and stuff like that. We know we have a negative attribute with our arm accuracy. Probably want to look for somebody there, but we'll see kind of what's in here as far as these coaches. I'll probably try and spend a little less. I know I said I'm not spending money, but I don't want to go too crazy. Like that guy's not bad. Fielding, speed, arm strength, and he's only a negative in blocking. So okay with that. Arm accuracy, that gets our arm accuracy. Speed, reaction, also not bad. So there's a lot in here. So maybe we'll go Bob McGrath there. He's pretty low down. Arm accuracy, fielding. Yeah, we're just gonna go Bob McGrath. He wants 920 for 2 to 3 years. Everyone's gonna be on the same. We'll give him $1 million. Million a year for 3 years. Not as high as I would like as far as the interest level, but still pretty good. Okay, and then third base coach, stealing an arm accuracy. I'm just gonna fire him. Just gonna fire him too. So we're going after everybody. They weren't my coaches anyways, so a lot of times this happens with the new GM anyways. But so it's still, third base is pretty much the same as first base coach. All right, let me look through here and let's see what we can find. Okay, so I went back and forth between Gary Pettis here and then as well as George Carrasco. Carrasco has a lot of the same kind of attributes as our first base coach that we're going after, but he has the durability. And then with Pettis, I don't necessarily, the blocking doesn't do anything for me, but he does have +2 stealing, and then he has 1 in arm strength. So it's hard for me to say. I would hate to not have anybody in durability. Maybe we can find it in our farm director. But I'm gonna get the guy with the stealing bonus. Yeah, I think that'll help our team better even out with where we're at. So we're gonna make him an offer. He's not asking for as much as the other guys, so we'll do. I mean, we can do the same thing. $1 million. That's fine. So his interest level is still pretty low. So next is our farm director. And let me peruse this, and then we'll stop on the guys that I'm going to get here. All right, so our farm director had a little trouble. I kind of wanted another hitting guy just because our manager is more of a pitching guy. He does have that plate vision bonus. Our hitting coach has the plate vision bonus. But I kind of settled on Miguel Reese here. He does have plate vision, so we're going to have 2 guys that have plus plate vision. I would have rather had like plate discipline. I just couldn't find a guy, and everybody else kind of had something in there that was just a red flag for me. The -2 clutch. He had 2 things down. He was okay, but I wanted a hitting guy. Plate vision down. So that's kind of how it was. So I think the best bet is to go with Reese. He does have a -1 in stamina. I'm willing to live with that with the 2 durability, which is what we were looking for. He does have plus in arm strength, so we're kind of doubling down on two of the categories. But he just seems to be the best available, and I think that's probably the guy. I don't think he'll ask for too much. 920. I think the guy at the top was asking like 1.4. So again, we'll just do 3 years, and then we'll give him $1 million to see where that takes him. Okay, so re-signing all, or not re-signing, but offering contracts to all of these guys. I wish it was a little bit more balanced. Like I said, plate vision there, plate vision there, arm strength, arm strength. So you do kind of double down. I would have liked maybe some plate discipline and maybe a little more just clutch in general, or pitching clutch as well. He's got +2, but you can see what I'm trying to do. Just kind of even it out so that way it looks, like we're a well-rounded team. We got all our bases covered. So sometimes you luck out, and there's guys out there that fit everything. It's kind of like the scouts. There's, I think, guys available some years that there are not. Like I said, Dave Roberts was available one year, so it just kind of depends on what happens in the season. So we're going to offer those guys those contracts. We'll see what happens, and then basically we'll just go day by day. Okay, Daryl Boston accepted the Braves offer as pitching coach. So already, we got to go. So we got Bob McGrath, but we're going to have to go get a pitching coach. So review staff, we got Bob McGrath, pretty good. But it was the pitching coach. Let's see, submitted offers. So we got to find a better pitching coach. Dang. And you can see, you can always just, trump these guys and offer more. Sometimes they still won't even take it. So, it's really kind of how good your team is. Eric Young as a pitching coach, I don't know if he's a pitching coach, but the Rockies had Eric Young for years, so maybe that's where he goes. I'm not sure how much the game plays into that, but we're not going to go after him. So, we can just kind of go over the next best available. The pitching coach was probably the least deep out of the coaching areas. So let me look again, and then we'll see what we can get here. All right, so I don't know how I missed this guy before, but we're going to go after Eddie Rodriguez. He's got the control I want. He's got the velocity I want. Pitching clutch that's going to add to our managers. Pitching clutch, we're just going to make him an offer. He's actually asking for less. We'll give him 1.4. See where that takes us. Okay, interest level much higher. So, and then we can kind of see with your submitted offers if, like, here Cordero has been offered $23 million for 4 years. So that's a managerial spot. So is he going to be a manager or is he going to be a hitting coach? We'll just have to wait and see. And then here too, so you see he's actually getting offered more by the Pirates than by us. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to offer what was 3.3 for 3 years. So I'm going to do it 3.5 for 3 years. Like I don't want to waste my time with these guys. I mean, it gets kind of frustrating when they don't sign because you don't know what impact they really have on your team. I mean, other than the modifiers, but it's one thing that I don't like to spend a lot of time on. So let's just kind of simulate through and see. So Cordero took the managerial spot, so there goes our hitting coach. So, and again, it's because we're not a very good team. So, I think that plays a role into it. So we'll stop simulating, head back in here, review staff. So good thing about the hitting coach is there was some depth there. I had just really liked kind of what he had going for us. So all right, so Andy Haynes appears to be our guy. Got the discipline. We're doubling down on the plate vision, but the clutch I like, and then the power as well. So we're gonna make him an offer. 1.2. We're gonna offer him the same thing we were offering the other guy. I think it was 1.5. So a little bit further, well, not too further down, but further down than our last guy. And we're gonna look at where we're at, seeing if there's any other offers on the table for these guys. There's not, so hopefully we can get it done. I'd like to get it done in 4 days. Okay, so we got our pitching coach. We got our farm director. We got our third base coach. And Tom Strong went to the Guardians as manager. Man, it's going to be fun to beat the Guardians, isn't it? All right, so now we got to get another manager. So I don't know if I've had this many guys not sign. I don't know if they're taking into account the kind of the dumpster fire that went on with the White Sox this year. Just kind of the public stuff that came out that should have probably stayed in the clubhouse. I don't know if they're taking that into account, but this is a little frustrating. So we just need our hitting coach. He doesn't have any other offers. So do we go more pitching? Do we go more hitting with our manager coach? Our manager coach with our manager. Let's see. Speed, reaction, plate vision. I'm surprised they have Kevin Cash at a B attribute grade. But it's not for me to decide. Okay, his plate vision is down. So there's not a ton. We can go durability. We got that with our farm director. Okay, so not a ton out there, unfortunately. There's not really a hitting guy out there. There's not really a pitching guy out there. Diaz was, he doesn't hurt us in anywhere. I would have liked to have a better, head coach, better manager. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this year, unfortunately. The other guy I was looking at was Felipe Morris. He's kind of got he would help out in our stamina. We already got the durability bonus there with our farm director. So other than that, I was even looking into some Bs. But I can't take the hit on like plate vision. If I'm going for a hitting coach or a pitching, coach specialist, I can't take the hits in those areas, and that's kind of what's going on. Pitching clutch -2. I mean, that's the complete opposite of what we had with the first guy we offered. So I'm just gonna play it safe. This guy will probably accept. It gives us A's across the board, 3.5. So I'll just give him 3.8, and I doubt anybody else is going to offer him. I mean, maybe he might get. Let's see, Reggie Diaz. Is he a hitting coach? Let's see. Must be a pitching coach. No, he's like a third or first base coach. So, it is what it is. That's the guy we're going after, and we'll sim here and see. Andy Haynes is our hitting coach, so that's good. And then he didn't accept. For what reason? I don't know. So we'll review staff one more time. Look at our submitted offers. No one's offering him. But when we get in free agency here in 2 days, let's see. Today's last day. Qualify offer. Yeah. Review staff. And I'm just going in here making sure he doesn't have any other offers. Because if we're the only offer, I think he'll sign with us, right? So, okay, so it's fine there. Again, he's qualified. I'm not making an offer for Arena. I watched him with the Rockies enough to know that I don't want him. All right, so now we got a bit more to do. One thing you got to do and kind of remember if you don't sign your coach, in those days, you can still look at them. You just got to go up to um, coach contracts under the handshake there, and then you can see it. So don't forget about that. He doesn't have an offer, but you will probably have to check that daily. Um, but next we select the 40-man roster. For those of you that don't know, 40-man roster basically means, I guess to put it in layman's terms, um, they're untouchable, right? So they're able to be pulled up to the MLB squad, and they can't be picked in what's called a Rule 5 draft. So the Rule 5 draft is basically it's a way to even the playing field for the worst teams. So like for instance, like our 40-man roster, we got all these D's here. So do we need them on um, our 40-man roster? Probably not. So we might go through here and we might have an opportunity to pick somebody in the Rule 5 draft. Only problem with that is when you draft somebody in the Rule 5 draft, um, it's very hard to move them down. They have to be on the MLB roster. So you got to make sure that they're legitimate guys that are going to play. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to develop this guy." Well, I mean, you can, but if you want to move them down, you have to put them on back on waivers or cut them. So um, it's kind of an interesting prospect. I have picked some guys some years. Typically, I think one year I picked a reliever, and I ended up having to cut him, and then I picked him back up because there's an injury. So there are guys that just kind of float around a little bit. I mean, there's tons of success stories of Rule 5 draft guys in the majors. Santander, I believe, was a Rule 5 draft um, who just kills it now. And Nick Sandlin is another one that comes to mind for the Guardians. Both Rule 5 guys that kind of are pretty good for their team. Santander, I believe, was from the Guardians, and then Stefan was from the Yankees. So those were teams that couldn't fit them on their roster, and then they got picked up by other teams. So we'll go through here. The no brainers are the guys that are not quite up to the league. Like Cordero's not on the 40-man roster, needs to be. I usually keep as many A's and B's as I can on the 40-man roster, um, just because those are the guys that I'm gonna see improvement. D's and C's, probably not, unless the guy's on, is a starter or something for your team. So let me go through here, do the 40-man roster. That's kind of just a background about it. It can be a complete pain, especially if you have a full 40-man roster and you need to add to it, because when you take a guy off the 40-man roster, they have to pass through waivers as well. So it can kind of be a headache. What I like to do is just go position by position and find the guys that I know I want on my 40-man roster. Um, Shell. Okay, so we have room because it didn't ask me to, um, you know, take anybody off. Jordan Holloway, probably another guy. Let's see, max 40 man. So now we have to, which we have some guys that you can cut, right? All these guys are probably even. I'm surprised he's in. Oh, we had to move him up because of the injury. Okay, so but even these guys, like, he's 32 and he's a 58D. So take these guys off the 40-man roster. It'll give you the, hey, you need to pass them through waivers, continue with the move. No one will probably pick them up. It's when your team starts to get where you want it to be, and you have A's and B's, where it can kind of become tricky. So it doesn't look like we'll probably have much problem with it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove a bunch of these guys just because I know that I don't need them. Again, a little tedious, but let me get through it and we'll move on after this here. All right, we got our 40-man roster done and taken care of. Next up is the salary arbitration. Once you get in here, these are basically people that, for me, we're just asking a little bit too much in the contract re-signing, so we had to take it to arbitration. Basically, it means, um, you can offer them a contract here, see if they'll accept it now. If not, you offer arbitration. Basically, that is because they're still under club control. You get to offer arbitration, which is saying, hey, we think you're at this much. The player then thinks they're at more, and then basically if you guys can't agree, it goes to a panel, and then they decide, they kind of mediate and figure out the exact amount. I think one of the most famous arbitration um, you know meetings in recent history is the Aaron Judge, where they couldn't come to an agreement. Obviously, he's worth a lot more than his previous salary, so they obviously did come to agreement, and he was able to play. But uh, that's kind of basically where it's at. It's the player is under team control, but now has the ability to kind of negotiate their contract a little bit more, and then get what they want. So that's what we're doing here. I don't know who we're going to resign. Kopech, obviously, I'd like to resign. He's not on the major league roster. I think they have him on it right now, but he's not going to make the team. So the reason I want to keep him is because he does have an A potential still, but I think he's asking for 5.5 million a year. So basically, what we'll do is we'll offer arbitration, and then you can offer his previous salary, which is probably what I'm going to do. It's still pretty steep, for a guy that's in AAA. And then his 5.5, if he is not willing to get down to this 2 million, then it'll go to a panel. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And then you can always sign him before. So I'll just go through here and do them. I'm going to take a look at their contract, one last time, and then if not, I'll just offer them, probably last year's salary. Nobody really made a big jump to warrant more money in my mind. So I'll get through this real quick. All right, with that done, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going down the line here until we get to the free agency, is kind of what we did in the middle of the season. We're going to try and sign the guys that we weren't able to sign. Most of these guys, they'll have a contract renewable next to them. With these guys, it's kind of the same thing. 60s and above, I typically re-sign. Anybody in the 50s or below, I have a hard time re-signing. So a lot of these guys I think are already on waivers. So just because with the 40 man, that's kind of what happened. I had to put quite a few on waivers, but I'll go through here, and again, the main guys obviously are the guys up top. They need to be re-signed or renewed. Good thing is typically with the young guys, they're pretty cheap. It's pretty easy to do. Shell will only do for 1 year. That's all you can do early in their career. So we offered that. It won't have them accept it right away. It'll kind of go along with the free agency as we go week to week. So we kind of won't know. So just offer who you think, and then that's all I do, and wait and see. So we signed most of our guys already. These are kind of just the leftovers. All right, got that done. A lot of these guys I'm probably, I basically made a contract or an offer to everybody that I could, and then I'll probably, if I'm still, if I get full after free agency, I'll probably end up just cutting some guys wherever we make our pickups. So, so the next thing is the free agents. This is where we get to see kind of where we're going to make our moves. I don't really know yet. I know I want some offense, obviously. I think our pitching is okay. If there's somebody out there that sticks out, we'll probably go after them. And then our relievers probably is where we're also gonna focus. So relief pitching as well as a hitting. So whether that be a first baseman, I kind of want an outfielder, maybe like a right fielder, just to kind of take some pressure off those rookies that I traded for. But two, if there's something else out there, I'm definitely willing to do it. The only thing I try to stay away from, especially while we're rebuilding, um, with the qualifying offers, um, if one has been made, and it says it right over there to the right, but if one has been made and you resign the guy, you forfeit a draft pick for that player. So I'd much rather prefer to have draft picks. I just think it's more fun of a prospect. It kind of stinks because a lot of the top echelon guys, are those restricted free agents. So like Shohei might not even be available to us. He might just re-sign with the Angels. But basically, I'm just gonna go position by position and see what we got. Our starting pitching, you know, these three guys probably not looking at them just yet. Um, Giolito's not bad. He's kind of, I feel like in this game he's kind of in a limbo type state. I've seen him as low as a C potential, and then here he's at an A potential. Um, so maybe he'd probably be the only guy there. I would think, um, to make a difference. I don't know Sonny Gray. He's 34. It's hard to say. Montgomery. Um, I've played with him. His stuff isn't, as good or as fun to play with in my mind. Um, he did win a Cy Young for me though, so he's a good pickup. He's if you want to go there, and then this is probably where we're gonna pick up two, maybe three guys. You can see our roster here: 77, 72, 71. So ideally, if Crochet is gonna move to that closing role, what we might do, I'm not sure yet. Um, we want a couple more guys. So you know typically the relievers are aging guys, and they're pretty hit or miss. Um, I've had guys that have done really well, that have signed in free agency, and then I've had guys that that same guy in a different franchise, not do as good. So it's pitching, so that's just kind of how it goes. So in the catcher department, we do have Corey Lee. Not bad. He's 25, 73. I would love to see him, you know, progress. Um, but Mitch Garver is a great hitter. He would be a great asset to our team, I think. Like I said, I want a hitter, and that's exactly what Garver is here. Um, Again, we could put him at first base and kind of have him maybe play catcher, part of the time. Put him at first against lefties or something like that. That way, we're still getting Corey Lee's reps. We'd probably put Corey Lee against right-handers, and then you always have the DH in there too that you can kind of play with too. So, um, I think that's a guy we're probably going to go after. To tell you the truth, it would really help us out because it would take some pressure off of Corey Lee if he does end up taking a step back. He's 33, so if we get him for 3 years, 2 years maybe, we'll see what he's asking for. Um, we'll see what he's asking for, but I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. He's a pretty decent hitter. So that might be a guy like middle of the order. I basically want to build my middle of the order right now. Our best player that we have, he can hit one hole, he can hit two, three hole, and Luis Robert. So let's just assume he's going to hit three. You'll have, probably Lux in the lineup. And Moncada probably as well. Probably our next two best, players as far as, attribute wise. So you can put Lutz at one, Moncada at two, and then we need 4 and 5 in my mind. We don't really have, a legitimate power bat. The guys that we do have, like for instance Andrew Vaughn, pretty decent hitter, can play, some DH for us. But again, he did take a step back in his potential. He was an A potential, now he's B potential. How much further is he kind of going to fall for us? So fortunately for him, there's not really anybody that jumps out at me. Vaughn's probably safe for another year. But again, if we pick up Garver, we can play him there and we can kind of move around the lineup. doing that. And then second baseman, obviously, we signed Nomo after we drafted him, so he's a 73, and then we're also playing our right fielder or center fielder that we picked up, who eventually might play right field or a corner spot for us. So second base is kind of a position for us that's you know in need, but we have a guy there um, that fills it. He's just not quite ready yet. So to sign a guy here, there's not a lot. Obviously, we can sign like a shortstop and move him there, something like that. But probably no second baseman. Third base, again, this would be our power bat, right? It'd be Max Muncy, and you'd have him. I mean, he could play. I mean, again, you could do a lot with him. We do have Moncada, right? Who's a pretty decent hitter. He's a switch hitter, which really helps his game there as far as playing time. But again, he's probably a guy that we're looking to trade. I don't know if he's going to stick around our team. We could have Muncie there and then move some players around. I know we talked about moving Lux over there. Um, I would say if we get, because he would play first, third. We could also put him at second. So not bad. He's starting to decline. The only reason I would go after him is strictly for his bat. So um, he could play DH too. My guess is I mean, it's tough to say. Probably if we go after Garver, we're probably not going after Muncie. So it'd probably be one of the two guys. Um, I think um, I think Lee can maybe hold his own at catcher. Um, and first base, like I said, we're not going to pick up a first baseman, but I think we're going to spell some guys there. Through the guys that we pick up. So we'll probably get like an infielder. So I would say Muncie, Chapman also pretty good. He would strictly play third base though. So and he's declining. So you would have to have, if you pick up Chapman, you'd have to say, hey, I'm basically gonna trade Moncada. I believe Moncada's other position is second base. So he would be kind of a guy that would just be struggling to get playing time. If we decide to go with the younger guys, we could say Moncada's for sure at second, and then our young guys take another year. But I think I want both my outfield guy that's playing there, which I might just move him to second. I don't know yet. Um, and then our first round draft pick, I want them both playing there. So Chapman's probably out, and then you have Rosario here. Obviously, our number one prospect now is probably our second baseman. We're just talking as though he's already on the team in Nomo. So Rosario would play the outfield for us, really, because we have Lux, and then we have probably no shortstop there. Although he's probably one of the only potentials at that age that we can pick up. That's a pretty decent pickup. Left fielder got some age here, kind of Falefa. I mean, he can play catcher too. It's not the worst thing. Not really a great hitter though. Not really what we're looking for. Jock Peterson would strictly be probably a DH. All these guys are like DH types here. So yeah, so no left fielders. Center fielder, we have Cody Bellinger. I mean, he would be kind of the perfect solution. He's going to ask for a lot of money though, and he is declining. So, but I mean, he could be, our right fielder, everyday right fielder, first baseman. That's not bad. He's a guy to keep an eye on. Adam Duvall also not bad. He's just a little bit older. He's 35. 28. You're looking. I would sign Bellinger to like a 4-year deal. What's he asking for? 6 years. I mean, that's tough. I mean, that locks you into Bellinger. He's already declining. I don't know how much he's gonna fall. Obviously, they're saying that his year was kind of a fluke. He's a left-handed bat too, so Bellinger might be in there. I mean, you're seeing what I'm trying to get. I want one of these top top tier guys. And then we got Teoscar Hernandez. That's your everyday right fielder right there. He's 31, so a little bit older. Probably a 3-year deal. What's he asking for? 4 years. I could stretch it to 4. He could be like a 5-hole, or he could hit 4. Um, age. How old is Grossman? 34. Charlie Blackmon. He's declining. That's our guy, Naquin. So I think for sure, Teoscar Hernandez, because you got to figure. Okay, so we have Gavin Sheets. He's not going to play, and then we have Eloy as well, who can play some left field, but we also have Colton Cowser that'll probably play there. So we'll probably have a rotation with. I'll probably do Sheets. We'll probably DH with the right-handers, and we'll play. Oh man, that's tough. We're probably gonna have to play a bad defensive player. I just don't think. I don't think that Colton Cowser is ready for full time. Maybe. We also have Rafaela, so you can see there's a lot we can do here. I think what I'm gonna do, I definitely want to go after Hernandez. I just think his bat in the lineup is too important, and then I think what I'm gonna do is go after Mitch Garver for at catcher. So I think I'm going to go after those two guys. That way we can put Garver maybe in the 4 or 5 hole, 3, 4, or 5. Both these guys I think can hit in the middle of the lineup. We could also go after Bellinger with him declining him, and it looks like he wants. Let's see, make an offer. Okay, so he's asking like 5 years. That's a long time to commit to him for another center fielder. I think Hernandez is just a better bat. I know he's the top guy, but I think we look pretty good with Garver and Hernandez. And then as far as the pitchers, I think what we're gonna go after. I'm undecided on Giolito right now. I would probably say no. Probably gonna go after Phil Maton here. I think that's one guy that would be good. I don't know about Matt Moore. That's tough to say. And then probably one other guy who will probably be like a lefty guy. I have to look. Crochet's a lefty guy. But after we got 1, 2, 3, let's see, Santos, Barger, Crochet, and then let's say 4 here, and then 5, 6. So we probably need 2 more guys to kind of fill the void here because Foster's dips all the way down to 66. So probably him and 2 others, whether that be Matt Moore, whether that be a closing pitcher. So that's 4 guys we're probably going to offer, at least 5 guys. So let me figure out exactly who I want to offer to. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to go through. I'm going to get my offers made. We can do like the first one here. Catcher, Mitch Garver. I can offer more now because we have quite a bit of room. He was offered 29 for 2 years. It looks like he wants 4 years. I'm willing to give him 3 years. So at that, he wants 9.8 a year, or he's looking for 10.6 a year. That's kind of steep, but we're no good. So, let's see, 21. So he was offered like, what is that, 10.9? So we'll offer a full 11 at 3 years. We should. So now we're above them. So that's just kind of what I'm going to do. And then we'll do the same thing that we did with the coaches. Just each day check back and make sure we're the highest one. I mean, I've been the highest one, and won't they don't choose it. You just have to look like all he wants to be the star of the team. So for us, he for sure will be the star of the team. With the Rangers, he won't. I mean, there's four other guys that get more pub than him right now. Um, but Garver on our team would be the guy. So um, maybe that'll sway him. And then Teoscar Hernandez, he was offered 31 for 4 years. So whatever that's nine something. Rough math. What did we say? We can do 4 years. That's fine. We'll match their offer exactly, but not. We'll offer more. 31.2 4 years. So let's see if they're at where. So they're offering him a little bit more than what he's asking for. So we're just gonna offer him like 8.5 for 34 million. So it does beat there. So they had offered him more than what he's asking for, and then we're gonna offer him even more than that. So we got basically our two big bats that we want. So I'm just going to go through, make a couple more offers to the pitchers. I'll show you in the end exactly who I made offers to, and then that'll be a wrap. We'll go day by day. I'll let you know who signed, who didn't. That is the extent of the off season until you get to kind of spring training. Always make sure that we're checking the coach contracts. Obviously, we have one out for a manager right now. That's day by day. So if he signs, we'll let you know, or if that changes. But it looks like Reggie Diaz is going to be probably our manager. So I won't bore you too much. Let me make those offers, and then we'll give updates. All right. So I went ahead and made my offers. Um, we didn't do too much after the position players. I just did my relievers. Um, there's just not really a lot out there. I don't think that I really desperately want. So what I decided to do is instead of go after a closing pitcher, I'm going to trust that we can have either Crochet move into that role, or our prospect that's coming up. So I'm going to hold off there, um, just because that kind of handcuffs a little bit with us, in our closing pitching role, and we have all those prospects coming up. So I decided to go with depth in the relievers, and we might not get these guys. This is a previous one. He just didn't sign. He was on our team last year, but Castro, Stratton, and Matone here. Then we got Hernandez and Garber. So I think that'll make a difference to our team. I mean, that's five guys that definitely are an improvement. Um, we can kind of see from there what we can do, and maybe make more offers after that. But this is kind of the beginning of what I'm gonna do. So now we're just gonna advance a day and kind of see where we're at. We'll see if they want to sign with us, or if they don't. Sometimes it takes some days. One other note: I didn't go after Matt Moore, just because he's a left-hander. He's a little bit older, and we have four left-handers. That would give us four left-handers in our bullpen. So that's the only reason I didn't go after him. So let's just see. We'll advance one, and the thing about this game is it doesn't really give you quite an alert to see if you sign those guys. It doesn't give you a good kind of notification. So with the contracts, the coach contracts, I go back, just double check, make sure he's good, or not good. He hasn't signed yet, but and then in free agency, go to your offers. It looks like nobody signed, so we just advance another day. All right, so we got our manager. Kind of expected that. He didn't have any other offers. He wasn't our first pick, so that's good news there. It's only been a couple days here. While we're here, we'll just kind of see offers. Still no one signed. I did have to adjust a couple of the contracts offered, just because some teams made some offers in those days. I'm still kind of leading the pack It just comes down to really who they want to sign with. So we'll just continue on, and like I said, I'll stop it again. Any big news? All right, one day went by, and we got Miguel Castro. So not a huge, free agency signing, but definitely bolsters our bullpen a little bit. But we're still, these are the big guys that we really want. That's where we need the most help is our offense. So um, we'll see kind of what happens in the coming days. I haven't had to adjust anything, and yeah. All right. So the big deals do pop up. And just if they're one of the big free agent signings. So we did get Teoscar Hernandez. So that's huge. I mean, he's our basically for our team he'll be a superstar coming in. 85 overall. Definitely gives some protection to Luis Robert. Pretty happy with that. I think in our in our lineup, he'll fit right in, and I think he'll be a good asset. He signed relatively early for us. Looks like we had a reliever. Hopefully sign. He's off our offers list. Let's see. Yep. So I ended up moving his contract to 3 years, and that was, I guess, the selling point for him. He is declining in some areas, but he's our best reliever right now. We just signed our best reliever. So with him, you can kind of see our bullpen, starting to look a little bit stronger. And I think, like I said, I'm going for depth, so we'll have kind of the ability to play the hot hand, which I hate doing. That's just kind of what we're dealt here if we want to develop our closers. I don't want to limit them by putting them up in the majors or putting them in a spot where they don't succeed. So we got two guys left to sign. Obviously, a big one is Garver. We still have quite a bit an edge over the Rangers. Uh, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we got our other reliever. We signed all three relievers, so that's what our bullpen looks like. Um, mid to high 70s. We're gonna have obviously our Cabrera possibly move into that closing role, and then we're gonna have Bummer move to a reliever. So Bummer, not as good, 72, but we have, in my mind, if you just go by innings, we'll have our closer. Let's say that's Crochet, and let's say the young guy doesn't make it. We still have Maton for the eighth, and then Castro Stratton can split the seventh. So ideally with our starters, hopefully they can give us six, and then that's something to build off of for the future with our relievers there. So bolstered probably our weakest spot. And now we just need to, hopefully we get Mitch Garver. That's kind of the last piece of the puzzle that we're looking for here. All right, so we were able to get him finally. Took the rest of the month, but I did have to adjust his offer a little bit. Just gave him 4 years, which is not something I really wanted to do, but I figured we could always trade him before the kind of the decline sets in. So we got our guys. Well, there you go. Shohei just went to the Marlins, which is kind of surprising. We ended up not going after Shohei, obviously. We're just going to try and, go it with the team that we have. We'll just kind of see kind of what our roster looks like. We do have, a lot more 80s now than we did before. Obviously, this is going to take longer than a year to get to where we want. Hopefully, these guys close, after this year can all be in the 80s, and we can, kind of have an improving year. I think this is probably a team that should be able to make the playoffs, especially in the division that they're in. And it's kind of interesting because I've never had a team where so many guys are, reliant on, growing on the field, right? Like Cease, I mean, he's 28 now, but, we have May, Rodriguez, Bello, Lux, Crochet, Shell. All these guys are going to be playing in the majors, it doesn't reflect that there. But all these guys are going to be playing in the majors, and we need them to grow. Eloy Jimenez, Moncada, or a couple other guys. Um, I'm just looking now, and it looks like between Moncada, Jimenez, um, Sheets, and probably Vaughn, our last kind of four remaining starters, there might not be room for one or two of those guys. We're completely overhauling the team, and I think if you look, up and down, our starting pitching is completely different. Our relievers are completely different. Um, our closer is going to be different. Our catcher is going to be different. Granted, we're going to have Lee play there, quite a bit. Um, he's going to be splitting time with Garver. Our second baseman is different. Third base, he's going to stay the same, but we got guys coming up. Shortstop is different. Left field, we've got Cowser and Rafaela to play there, and then Teoscar Hernandez. So already we've completely, remapped this team in just 1 year. So it's taken a lot of work. Now I'm eager to see kind of what it looks like on the field. So obviously that is a huge huge thing. So it's one thing to get the guys, but if you can't play with them, you got to find other avenues. But I'm excited to kind of see what this lineup looks like. I think it'll be an exciting mix of some young guys that we really want to see succeed, um, and yeah, I think it'll be fun to see. So I'm gonna kind of just quickly go through the rest of the off season. We're gonna get to the spring training portion. If anything else happens, I'll update you when we get to spring training. But we're gonna try and get a game in here, try and get opening day, and I'm gonna sim through probably all of spring training. The one thing that I am also gonna do is, as you saw, like none of like Robert's got to be in the majors, so we're gonna have to make a bunch of moves, get our guys that we want in the majors up. I have to decide if I want Cabrera closing, so we're gonna kind of set our lineups. That's likely it until spring training, and yeah, we'll just kind of you know see exactly what this team looks like, and I'll be excited to play the first game.